My best friend said, "It's just timing, not cheating. Everyone already knows about us." After I caught him with my girlfriend of 8 years, I replied, "Okay," as our entire friend group told me to be mature and keep showing up. Hours later, I made one quiet decision, and, look, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this because honestly, I'm still trying to wrap my head around how spectacularly my life imploded 3 weeks ago. And the more I think about it, the more I'm starting to wonder if I've been sleepwalking through my 20s, or if this is just what happens when you assume loyalty goes both ways. I'm 26. Work IT support for the healthcare system here. Basically, I'm the guy people call when they can't figure out why their computer isn't working, which 9 times out of 10 means it's not plugged in. Not exactly changing the world, but it pays the bills, and I've got decent insurance. My girlfriend Blair and I have been together since senior year of high school, which around here basically makes us married in the eyes of everyone's grandparents. We've got this tight crew that's been rolling together since middle school. You know how it is in smaller towns. The people you eat lunch with in 7th grade tend to stick around. There's about 8 of us who survived the great social reshuffling of high school and actually stayed friends through community college and real jobs and all that adult stuff. We're the Friday night game crew, the tailgating squad, the let's hit up Murphy's Tavern for trivia and pretend we're not getting too old for this crowd. Grayson's been my ride or die since we were 12 and arguing about Pokemon cards. We played Little League together, survived middle school together, went to each other's family barbecues. He's one of those naturally charming guys who can talk his way out of anything but somehow never quite wants to deal with the cleanup afterward. I guess I always figured that's just how some people are wired. They're fun to be around. Just don't expect them to help you move furniture or remember to pay you back without 17 reminders. 3 weeks ago, everything went sideways in the most predictable way possible. I came home early from a service call. Some doctor's office couldn't figure out why their wireless printer wasn't working. Turns out they'd been trying to print to the one unplugged in the storage closet, and walked into my own bedroom to find my girlfriend of 8 years and my best friend of 15 years doing what people do when they think nobody's coming home for another 2 hours. You'd think catching your girlfriend cheating would be the worst part of that day, but honestly, the thing that broke my brain was what happened next. What I wasn't prepared for was everyone else's reaction. Blair's first words weren't "I'm sorry" or "I can explain." They were, "This doesn't have to change anything." Like I was the unreasonable one for being upset about it. Grayson just kept saying, "Bro, you know it's not like that," while literally putting his clothes back on in my bedroom. But here's the part that's really messing with my head. When I told our friend group what happened, expecting some kind of support or at least acknowledgement that this was fucked up, they basically told me to chill out. Tatum said I was being dramatic and that people grow and change, man. Jessa texted me a whole paragraph about being the bigger person and how I wouldn't want to break up the group over something like this. Something like this. Like it was a scheduling conflict or an argument about where to go for dinner. They're still inviting all 3 of us to things. Game night this Friday like nothing happened. Jessa's birthday party next weekend where I'm apparently supposed to watch my girlfriend of 8 years and my best friend since middle school hold hands and act like a couple while everyone pretends this is totally normal. The crazy part, when I said I wasn't coming to stuff anymore, suddenly everyone's blowing up my phone. Group chat going off every 5 minutes asking where I am. Individual texts asking if I'm okay. People showing up at my apartment just to check on me. Which is weird, right? If they think I'm being dramatic and unreasonable, why do they care so much whether I show up? I keep thinking there's something I'm missing here. Like maybe I'm the asshole for not being more understanding. Maybe 8 years doesn't mean what I thought it meant. Maybe friendship is more flexible than I realized. But I can't shake this feeling that I'm being played somehow. That they need me to be okay with this for reasons that have nothing to do with caring about my feelings. Am I losing my mind here? Is this what adult friendships look like, and I just didn't get the memo? Update 1. Friday night, they did game night without me for the first time in probably 3 years. My phone was going off constantly, group chat asking where I was, individual texts asking if I was coming, then messages like, "We're starting without you," and "Wish you were here, man." I turned my phone off and tried to watch Netflix, but I kept thinking about what some of you said, about how their reaction was weird, about how they seemed more upset about me pulling back than about what actually happened. Saturday morning, I was going through my phone clearing out old messages when I found something that made my stomach drop. A voice message from Grayson from about 6 weeks ago that I'd never fully listened to. It was long and rambling. He'd clearly been drinking. But buried in the middle of it was this. And I know we said we wouldn't tell him yet, but I think she's gonna do it anyway. And honestly, bro, you're gonna understand. You know how you guys have been lately, and me and her just click better. It's not about you. It's just, I don't know, man. Chemistry or whatever. We said we wouldn't tell him yet. I must have listened to that message 20 times. They'd been planning this. Not just the cheating, but how to handle me finding out. And somehow, how to handle me involved making me feel like I was overreacting for being hurt about it. I spent Saturday going through old group chat messages, looking for anything else I might have missed. Found a conversation from 2 months ago where Blair was complaining about me working late, and Grayson responded with, "Maybe it's time to make some changes." Jessa responded with a bunch of heart eye emojis. They knew. They all fucking knew. Sunday, I got another wave of texts asking if I wanted to go to lunch with everyone. When I didn't respond, Tatum called me. "Dude, what's your deal? You're being weird. My deal is that my girlfriend cheated on me with my best friend, and you guys want me to pretend it didn't happen. Nobody's asking you to pretend anything. We're asking you to be mature about it." Mature? Yeah, like, they're happy together. Don't you want your friends to be happy? I hung up on him. But here's what really got to me. An hour later, I got a text from Jessa asking if I was still planning to renew my Costco membership next month because we all need to stock up for tailgate season. That's when it hit me. They're not worried about losing me as a friend. They're worried about losing me as, what? The designated driver? The guy with the warehouse store membership? The person who picks up the tab when someone's card gets declined? I started thinking about our friend group differently. When's the last time someone asked how I was doing? When's the last time anyone reached out to hang out just with me, not as part of the group? When's the last time anyone remembered my birthday without Facebook reminding them? They don't want to lose me. They want to keep me around to serve the same function I've always served, but now I'm supposed to do it while watching my ex-girlfriend and ex-best friend be together. I'm starting to realize that what I thought was a close-knit friend group was actually just a social arrangement where I played a very specific role. And now that I'm not willing to play that role anymore, they don't know what to do with me. Update 2. The mask completely came off this week, and I finally understand what this friend group actually is. After my last post, I decided to stop responding to the group chat entirely. Just muted it and went dark. I figured if they actually cared about me as a person, someone would reach out individually to check if I was okay. That lasted exactly 3 days. Wednesday, I got a text from Jessa. "Hey, can you grab stuff for the cookout this weekend? You know what everyone likes. Not, hey, how are you holding up? Or, hey, we miss you." Just a request to do shopping for people who think I should be fine with watching my ex make out with my former best friend over burgers I bought. I didn't respond. Thursday, Tatum called. "Dude, Jessa said you're not getting stuff for Saturday. What's the deal?" "The deal is I'm not coming Saturday." "Come on, man. You're really going to let this thing with Blair and Grayson ruin everyone else's good time?" Everyone else's good time. That's what my 8-year relationship ending is to these people. I'm not ruining anyone's good time. You guys can buy your own food and hang out without me. But you always handle the food. And we need your truck for the chairs. There it was. Not we want you there. Not it won't be the same without you. We need your truck. I told him to rent a U-Haul and hung up. Friday, the floodgates opened. Group chat started going off with messages like, "This is getting ridiculous," and "We shouldn't have to choose sides," and "Rhett's being selfish." Selfish. For not wanting to provide free labor and transportation to watch my ex-girlfriend be happy with my ex-best friend. But the message that really got to me was from Blair. "I know you're hurt, but you're hurting everyone else too. We can all be adults about this." That's when something snapped. I opened the group chat and typed one message. "You guys made it clear that my feelings about being betrayed by the 2 people I trusted most are less important than your social convenience. I'm not going to pretend to be okay with this, so you can all feel better about yourselves. Find someone else to buy your food and drive your stuff around." Then I left the group chat. Blocked Grayson and Blair on everything. Didn't block the others, but I muted them all. The individual messages started immediately. Jessa sending me essays about forgiveness and moving forward. Tatum calling me immature. A few others trying to play mediator. But the most telling message came from our friend Derek, who I hadn't heard from through any of this. Dude, I know this sucks, but they're right that you're making it weird for everyone else. Can you just fake it for group stuff? You don't have to like it. Fake it. Just pretend my life didn't get blown up so everyone else can keep their weekend plans. That's when I realized these people were never my friends. I was their utility, the reliable guy who made their lives easier and asked for nothing in return except basic loyalty. And when that loyalty got tested, they failed immediately. I spent Saturday doing something I haven't done in years, whatever I wanted. Went to a coffee shop I'd never tried. Walked around downtown. Bought myself lunch at a place that wasn't picked by committee. It was quiet, but it wasn't lonely. There's a difference. Saturday night, my phone was buzzing constantly. They'd had their cookout apparently, but it was chaos without me organizing it. Multiple people complaining about having to coordinate their own food and transportation like adults. The final message came from Tatum around 10 p.m. Hope you're happy. You ruined Jessa's whole party. I wasn't happy. But I wasn't miserable either. For the first time in weeks, I wasn't walking on eggshells trying to manage other people's comfort with my own pain. I'm starting to understand that sometimes the people you think are your family are just people who got used to what you were willing to do for them. Edit. A lot of people are asking what I'm doing now instead of group hangouts. Honestly, I'm still figuring that out. It's weird having weekend plans that don't revolve around managing other people's social lives. But I joined a gym, and I've been reading again, which I hadn't done in forever. Edit 2. For everyone saying I should have seen this coming, you're probably right. But when you're in it, when these are the people you've known since you were 12, it's hard to see that you've become the person they keep around instead of the person they actually want around. Final update. It's been almost 2 weeks since I cut contact with my former friend group, and I've learned some things about myself that are both uncomfortable and necessary. The first week was rough. I kept reaching for my phone to share random thoughts with people who weren't there anymore. I'd think about making plans for the weekend and realize I had no idea what I actually wanted to do when I wasn't coordinating what 8 other people wanted to do. But something started shifting around day 10. I was at the grocery store buying food for just me, and I realized I hadn't bought anything I didn't actually want to eat in almost 2 weeks. Sounds stupid, but for years I'd been buying food based on what the group would want for whatever we were doing that weekend. I didn't even know what my own preferences were anymore. I started going to this Brazilian jiu-jitsu gym near my apartment. Always wanted to try it but never had time because weekends were always booked with group stuff. Turns out I'm terrible at it, but I like being terrible at something that's just mine. The revelation came Thursday night. I was having a beer at this brewery downtown, alone, which felt foreign at first, when I overheard these 2 guys at the next table talking about their fantasy football league. One of them was complaining about this friend who always flakes on everything, but we keep him around because he's got the best basement for draft day. It hit me like a truck. That's exactly what I was to my friends, the guy with the basement. Except in my case, it was the truck, and the Costco membership, and the reliable income, and the willingness to always be the designated driver. When I got home, I did something I probably should have done weeks ago. I went through my phone and looked at the last time each of them had texted me one-on-one about something that wasn't group logistics. Grayson, 4 months ago, asking if I could help him move. Jessa, 6 months ago, asking if I could pick her up from the airport. Tatum. I had to scroll back 8 months to find a conversation that wasn't about coordinating group plans or asking me to bring something somewhere. These people didn't lose their friend 2 weeks ago. They lost their convenience service. The final confirmation came yesterday. I was at Target and ran into Miles, this guy I work with who's been trying to get me to join his hiking group for months. We got to talking, and he mentioned that he'd been going through something similar with his college friends. It's wild how you can know people for years and never realize you're just filling a function, he said. Like they like having you around, but they don't actually like you, you know? That's it exactly. They liked having me around because I made their lives easier. But when push came to shove, when my feelings conflicted with their comfort, there was no question which one mattered more. I'm not angry anymore. Anger was exhausting, and it was keeping me tied to them emotionally even after I'd cut contact. Now I'm just clear. Clear about what friendship actually looks like. Clear about what I will and won't accept from people. Clear about the difference between being wanted and being needed. I've been hanging out with Miles and some of his friends, and the difference is stark. These are people who invite me to things because they enjoy my company, not because they need something from me. When I can't make it to something, they're disappointed but not inconvenienced. When I show up empty-handed, nobody makes a list of what I should have brought. Last weekend, I went to a birthday party for one of Miles' friends, someone I'd only met a couple times. They asked what I wanted to drink and actually listened to the answer. They included me in conversations instead of just assigning me tasks. It was such a basic thing, but it felt revolutionary. 2 days ago, I got a text from Jessa. "We're all getting together for Derek's birthday next weekend. Can you pick up a cake on your way? Not 'we miss you' or 'come celebrate with us.' Just another request for me to perform my function." I didn't respond. But I did do something I probably should have done years ago. I really thought about whether I missed them or whether I just missed the routine of having plans. Turns out it was mostly the routine. Today I saw Blair and Grayson at the grocery store. They were in the checkout line together, laughing about something on her phone. For a split second, I felt that familiar punch to the gut. Not because I wanted her back, but because seeing them together was visual proof that I'd been replaced in every sense. But then I noticed something that surprised me. They looked like strangers, not like people who'd been part of my daily life for 8 and 15 years respectively. Just strangers who happened to look familiar. They saw me too. Blair gave me this overly bright smile and waved like we were casual acquaintances. Grayson nodded like he barely knew me. I nodded back and kept walking. No drama, no confrontation, no big emotional scene. Just 3 people who used to know each other, acknowledging each other's existence and moving on. It felt peaceful. I'm not going to pretend this has been easy or that I've got it all figured out now. But I've learned something important. Sometimes the price of keeping your self-respect is losing people you thought were essential to your life, and sometimes that trade is worth it. The people who matter will choose you back. The people who don't were never really choosing you in the first place. Edit. A few people have asked if I regret not fighting harder to maintain any of the friendships. Honestly, no. If someone's friendship is conditional on me accepting being disrespected, then it wasn't really friendship to begin with. Edit 2. For anyone going through something similar, it gets quieter before it gets better. But quieter isn't the same as lonely. There's a difference between being alone and being surrounded by people who don't actually see you.